Hello, everyone, and welcome to an exciting new live stream. There's nobody here in the room quite yet, so I'm going to wait a moment before we officially get started here. And I've got for anybody that watches this, but yes, Canada's Wonderland 40th anniversary shirt on. And there's hopefully not too much that I will discuss because there's another live stream coming up on another channel that's relatively popular in addition to this channel as well. But yeah, we're live. That's that indication in the background just notified. So I'm going to wait to see if anybody does come on before we get into it. But we might as well just start anyway for sort of a preface of what's coming up this year. Now, the channel's kind of been in a weird sort of situation. It's the 6th anniversary officially today. So yeah, we've made it this far we've made it past the 5-year YouTube quitting hump, which is quite an accomplishment, I would say. And welcome to all the subscribers and followers, those of you that might be watching this later on. All right, we got a couple people online. So hello, everybody. You missed Time Warp yet? Yeah, we got a lot to talk about for sure. So I'm going to bring this light down because I'm a little hot on this side for sure. Ooh. All right, so I'll try to get to as many questions. So hello, Richard. Hello, Dr. Teeth. Best name definitely on the chat without question. And well, let's talk about Time Warp. I haven't been to the park, and this is probably the biggest thing that I need to talk about because I will admit I'm a little down. I don't feel so great about my relationship, and this is the thing that I've kind of made fun of before. In regards to relationships with the park, we really are just customers, as I feel at the end of the day. But as many of you probably know, Media Day at Wonderland was just this past Sunday, and also the past preview day was on Saturday. I wasn't in attendance for either. In fact, I don't think I'm going to be going to the park until possibly opening day, but that might be a little too crazy for me. So I think it might be the first Monday of regular park operations. Monday or Tuesday, I'll definitely make an announcement on the channel because it wouldn't be too bad some people have caught me randomly out in the field. And I won't lie, some people in Germany, in California, it's actually been thrilling to encounter people, and in the States and that actually watch the content. So that's probably been the most rewarding thing about doing this is finding fans just kind of randomly without like scheduled events or anything like that. But I definitely will be announcing, and I'll put a post on my message board or my community board, letting everybody know, and on my Instagram when I'm officially going to the park for the first time this season. I do have a fast pass for all of Six Flags parks this year. It's the first time ever. So as much as what I'm about to announce is going to sound like I'm not going to use that too much, I definitely will be. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing fast lanes at Wonderland because it's going to keep me a lot calmer when I'm there. But in relation to that, they're definitely, I don't know if they're, yeah, they probably, yeah. So I'm going to get to that about the criticism per se, because I don't know if I'm necessarily critical to an extent that's not fair. I'm going to say that. And I have been in contact with Grace in the past. I will say so. But I might be doubling down on that this year because without a direct reference to what it is that they take umbrage with what I produce, I don't really think it's fair because there's certainly the biggest channel that we know and also a supporter of this channel that has a relationship with Wonderland has been very critical of the park in the past to the point where, like, I'd say even more critical than things that I've said. And yet they've been just given a you know, I don't want to say a red carpet, but at the same time, it just seems like there's never been any issue there. Now, I do know when it comes to their relationship that there is now an agreement that there's certain things they can't do and say. And I certainly don't think I want to go down that route. So if that is the case, then probably I should stay where I am. But I don't think, without a direct reference to what it is that I say, that everyone else is pretty much saying. So if they're sensitive about Time Warp being considered one of the worst roller coasters in the world, well, I'm sorry, but that's just what the general public thinks, and they know that, and that's why Time Warp is gone. I don't miss it. I'm not going to miss it. I've read it. I've rode better Volaires out there. And I will also say that a lot of what I've referenced in the past about Wonderland, about my criticisms, lo and behold, this year they seem to be listening, because a lot of those changes are coming. So the Mindbuster video where I criticized the removal of the third airtime hill on the outward portion, well, that's coming back this year, and there's again a wholesale reprofiling happening, likely over 2 years of that roller coaster. So I don't think that I'm being unfair, and I have worked in the media extensively in the past for one of the biggest media, if not the biggest media company in Canada. And technically, I was paid by Disney in the past, when you look at it from the tree of like how corporations are owned. So I certainly know what I'm doing, and I definitely know that being in that environment in the past, there's no shortage of people that are critical of the subject matter of which they take somewhat of an expertise in. And I don't think it's, again, fair that the park is kind of looked down upon my content, if that's the case. I will say people are watching it, so it's not like people don't agree. There are a couple of people out there, potentially GP, got to say what it is, but it's somewhat ironic that the figurehead at Wonderland's initials are that, so I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, it's I don't think that I'm as loathed by the general public and the viewing public as I am by, say, the park. So I have made attempts to communicate with them over the past year to get some access to Media Day. I had the day available. I could have attended. I definitely want to keep the channel providing an objective view of what I think the park is. But I'm going to deal with the monkey in the room. Then I'm going to look at some of the comments here, because I'm sure there'll be even more catching up as we try to keep this with before the AI live, which is coming up 8 o'clock. So, you know, I might jump in there too, just for a little bit to look at. It's definitely a busy day. I'm going to the States tomorrow to do a lot of content for the channel, which I'll refer to later. So definitely remind me if I forget, but I'm sure I'll get around to it. But yeah, I definitely don't feel that I've been treated too fairly. I'll say that much. And really, I'm just being ghosted. I haven't had any communication outside of maybe 2 years ago. I did I'll just say it for what it is. My last communication with Grace was about the History of Wonderland video from the 80s. She said, wow, I was really impressed by it. Where did you get all that footage? And then I disclosed that some of the footage that was used came from Kings Island's construction, but at no point in that video did I indicate that that was actually Wonderland's construction. It's the same park chain at the time. It was very close to when Wonderland was being built. So I think it was perfectly fair sort of intercutting some of that footage into the style of what that video was. And I remain very proud of that video. And I think it's really going to just it's going to be a legacy of the channel overall. I did promise that there's going to be a new version of that, and it's still going to be worked on this year. But enough about me moaning about the relationship with Wonderland. It is what it is. I'm now going to ingratiate myself with places and attractions that are welcoming to my presence and actually are inviting to me participating and profiling them on the channel. And I've had a lot of enthusiastic responses too. So I don't want to go on again about how in Germany they're like literally like have open arms and are very, very cooperative and communicatable, and just like really just a pleasure to deal with. almost every single park that I go to in Europe. That's always been the case. But yeah, over here, it really is like a code of silence that they demand from their fans. It's either you say what we want, otherwise we're not going to invite you to these events, and we're not going to treat you like we do, say, other content creators who, you know, I have to say it for what it is. Their channels are smaller than what I kind of have as a following. So it just seems a little odd to me, but that's fine. That's what it is. To wrap it up, I definitely have some content planned for Wonderland this year. There's going to be several videos. There's going to be no more vlogs, as I've alluded to. In fact, I won't be vlogging from any park this year, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be doing park videos. We're going to be changing the format significantly this year towards something that really inspired me to do this in the first place. And, you know, there's just so many vlogs out there. No shortage of that right now with Epic Universe opening. So I don't really think I should be doing the same thing as everybody else. Some things have worked more successfully in the past, and I'm going to just continue doing that. And I'm also having a whole new, brand new way I'm going to package my visits. I am a little bit trepidatious and over getting attacked in parks too. So as I alluded to, I'm going to definitely meet and greet fans this year. I really haven't met that many, at least at Wonderland. And I haven't met AI in person. I haven't met shout outs to other channels that I follow, like Thrill Warrior and Adventures with Parker and PMF. So yeah, it's, you know, I like them all. They're great channels, and I watch them all avidly. So at the end of the day, I'm perfectly proud with saying that. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not going to create any content that's going to have those kind of interactions within the videos themselves. I have a completely different idea and something new that I'm going to try to do. And then we'll see how the channel works out in the relationship with the park. I doubt it's going to be fixed. They have their way of doing things. They clearly have a grudge on their shoulders, and they've got a bone to pick, I guess. It would be nice to have some interaction. Maybe from some serendipitous meeting, I will run into GP or Peter or somebody like that, and be able to verbally tell them, like in person, really what my intentions are, because I retain the fact that I've been to the park since its opening year. I'm an older enthusiast. That's fine. I'm not so sure, but maybe that is a factor into why I'm kind of being shunned out. And there's another factor that I'm not really going to get into, but it just seems a little bit unusual. So it is what it is. But I'm excited for what I'm going to produce this year. And it's going to be something quite different. I'm actually excited about it. It's going to be a very high-end production, very cinematic. That's one thing that I definitely think I like doing more for the channel. It's the focus is coming in and out. That I definitely enjoy producing for the channel, stuff like that. So you're going to see probably the most cinematic videos from Wonderland I'm aiming ever to be produced. That's my goal this year. I've invested a little bit into the equipment, so to get something a little different. And if you've watched my Halloween videos from, say, the last two haunts, especially the last haunt, I'd say the one before that, about a year and a half ago in the 2023 season, you can get an idea of what I'm going to be going for. There will be a little bit of my presence, giving my opinions on stuff. I'm definitely going to rank the coasters this year as well, like I did last year. That was a very successful video. I definitely enjoyed doing it, and also the rides as well. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, there's going to be a fair amount of content. So yeah, don't want to completely eat this up with Wonderland, but I'm going to look at the board here just to see if there's any. So I think of covered Time Warp. Yeah, definitely do not miss it. And yeah, I covered the Critical Park thing. You know, you have enough, you know, content creators that, you know, have a code of silence that they follow as far as maybe their true feelings about certain things about how the park is being run. I've definitely not been shy to share my opinion of that. It really comes from a perspective of someone who's been there since the beginning and watched it completely morph into something else. I've also been to I think at least, I haven't counted them all, but it's probably about 150 parks now. So I think it's only fair that I make a critical analysis based on my experience of what other parks are doing in relations to what is the #1 theme park in Canada and is the only theme park in Canada, really. Sorry, Callaway Park, you're trying, but it's not quite there. But I think Callaway Park's a great park. So yeah, there's a lot more that Wonderland used to offer than they do now. And I think that it's only fair that they be held accountable for some of the decisions that they make. And in reflection of, like, I've had some bad experiences at the park as of recent, and certain things could be different. There's a reason I don't go on busy days. The crowd can't really be held accountable for their actions, but I've seen, park employees, like I've seen an assault happen. I've seen certain things that I'm like, I just can't just not mention that. Maybe it's just me and I'm cursed and I happen to see these things, but it is what it is. And I'm not going to hide that. Some of the fatalities at the park and stuff in the past, I definitely don't think that those should be just pushed away and forgotten about. I think that's not honoring the memory of the people involved in that. So stay tuned for a little bit of a weird video about that if this continues on, because I definitely am going to be bringing up some darker moments that a lot of channels would never even touch. But I do some extensive research. And just for an insight, when I do research for a video, I sit down for like a week and I go on to websites like newspaper.com, which you got to get a subscription for, and allows you to access numerous new journals and newspapers from all the way back to the 1850s. But in relation to Canada's Wonderland, I search year by year and go through every single article that I can find to find information, and then I correlate the dates with other journals and magazines and newspapers. So all my information is verifiable and accurate. But in the days of the internet now, it's very easy for that to be lost in the milieu of an oversaturation of information, which we have in today's landscape. So I'll stand by my information because it is verifiable. It is not conjecture. It is not rumor or hearsay. Anything that I report is fact. All right, my camera is about to heat up already, so this might actually go black for a second, so bear with me. Unfortunately, if that happens, I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. Yeah, Alpenfury, I have not seen yet at all. I have not seen the coaster at all yet, which is kind of interesting because, yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to see when I first see it. And it'll probably be done when I actually see it for the first time. Yeah, so Wonderland is now in charge of PR at all 9 Six Flags parks. Well, there's certainly more than 9 Six Flags parks, because I've certainly been to more than 9. But yeah, Grace being in charge of them all is a very scary thing to me. I'm just going to say it for what it is. I just don't feel like, I don't know. There's just something generic about how they go about advertising the park that really isn't truly reflective of the mystique of what it used to be in the past. I definitely think it needs to have a bit of a refresh, because it's kind of just basic. And I know all of the advertising campaigns over the years, having gone through all that research for the videos of the histories. So I'm interested in seeing what the Niagara Park will do this year. It's a hot topic for sure. The one that Gene Staples purchased. So yeah, we're talking about Niagara Amusement Park, which, but I'm definitely going there. In fact, I think I'm going to get a pass because they're going to be opening the Witch's Wheel, the Ghost Train this year. The Serpents that was open last year, which we covered on the channel. It's definitely a park on the up. They have a lot of work to do still. I'm certainly hoping they have a lot more rides this year. But it's, to be honest with you, beautifully maintained park. I'm going to say that for what it is. The mechanics and the operations may not be that great, but the operations are great. The ops there have had an amazing interactions to the point where I'm like, I'm kind of filming here. I need to kind of get going. Yeah, I've had a great time there every time I've gone. They don't allow on-ride filming anymore, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to try to hope to maybe massage them into rethinking that policy. I've noticed, like, I'm going to say it for what it is, but there are some channels that I'm not too keen on, and I'm going to call them out for what they are. But National Coasters, and also Coaster Dash. Like, how do they get all those on-ride POVs for parks that don't allow them? How does that actually get approved? Is it approved? It doesn't really seem fair. I don't know. It is what it is. I think I have a theory behind that, other than them just rogue going in and doing what they do. But yeah, it's a little odd. New owner for Marineland. We haven't heard anything yet. I know that AI has some information. I think I know who the source is that he's referring to, because I'm friendly with this person as well. And yeah, it definitely seems like something's going to happen. My fingers are crossed. I don't think it's going to be Herschend. Everybody wants it to be Herschend. I'm not so sure it will be SeaWorld Parks. It would be incredible if that is. Either of those companies, I think, are the best in the game right now when it comes to theme park operations. So hopefully it is one of those two. Either way, I think it'll be a benefit. Certainly there's going to be some major changes, but we just still haven't heard anything, and it's almost May now, only a day away. So yeah, something's got to happen there, and who knows what is going to happen. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on it. I'm going to Niagara several times this year because I didn't really do too much content from there last year. And it is essentially the most popular content other than Wonderland content on this channel. So look forward to a lot of coverage about that, and we'll see what we can cover. They've been nothing but amazing and very cordial to me. It's very odd because, for a park that has so much negativity around it, the operators there have been nothing but friendly to me and very welcoming. And it's kind of scary going there sometimes, because as soon as you pull out a camera at Marineland, you expect, like, as per the first ever video that I ever did there, to be attacked by park security. And, I felt the benefit of actually being able to communicate to them directly about what my intentions were. And I've had no problems ever since. So, yeah, that's just the irony of it all for you there. I'm hoping they will be successful in their efforts. I certainly hope so too. I love Dragon Mountain. I don't think there's any secret to that. A lot of coaster enthusiasts like to complain about it being janky and just make fun of that coaster. It really is just a whipping post for what is like a park that just has had no luck on its side for the last better part of 20 years. But it's a beautiful coaster. It's one of the best aero coasters ever created. Yes, it's weird and wonky, but I love it for that. And it's still riding very well. I don't really have many bad rides on it. It's one of the most picturesque rides you can ever have. So yeah, I think, like, I love that ride, and I really hope that it lasts as long as it possibly can, because we're getting close now to Arrows pretty much leaving us sooner than later across the board. So long may it last, but hopefully maybe we see something new at that park, because the landscaping of that park really lends to another incredible terrain coaster if they can put one together for the park. Maybe some kind of webcam glasses. I'm sure it's done. Now, I've seen some of the footage, and it's definitely handheld. Like, I just watched some content recorded on Batwing with a handheld. And also, if you watch a lot of that content, you can see them on the ride itself. So they turn the camera back onto them. So it's definitely handheld. Yeah, I'm suspicious. It's weird. I always communicate with the parks and try to officially ask if on-ride POVs are allowed. If they are not, then I don't do them. But, again, you go to Europe and they're like, yep, no problem. In fact, you pretty much don't even have to ask, because most people are shooting them. It's like going to a Disney park, which, I think it has a lot to do with insurance. But every park operator has a different impression of what the CSSA and that, especially in Ontario, the regulations are. So no sooner you're filming on ride at Marineland, and then you go to the CNE and you're filming on ride, no problem. And then you go to a very small fairground operator run out of Ontario, which I'm not going to mention, but they're like, no, does not happen, never happened. You've never recorded on a ride in Ontario. And I'm like, I can show you videos right now of that. In fact, at the CNE numerous times, like, no, didn't happen. They don't want to see it. They don't want to believe you. They just basically shoot you down and say, nope, sorry, but you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not living in a fantasy world when it comes to that, but you know, they're welcome to their opinions about it, but unfortunately they're wrong. Okay, so caught up on the question. So what's happening with the channel? So I've definitely found recently that yeah, my interactions in the park are, you know, it gets a little heavy. I could create an entire video of just awkward moments of, you know, people just, you know, vlog bombing and stuff like that. And I'm sure, like, you know, my mentor, I'll say, like, Theme Park Worldwide could create like hours upon hours, if not days of footage of that. But as I've said in the field as well, it's like, it's not really about you guys. Like, I'm not really trying to, you know, like, the channel's not that big at all. So it's not like you're going to become famous by being in the video. And it really takes away from the content. The content's supposed to be about the park and not about people kind of acting goofy on the camera, because that's generally what happens. So I stay away from that. If I do let somebody do it, unfortunately for them, I do edit it out after the fact. And people don't take no very well. So sometimes you just got to just let them do their thing and then be like, yeah, thanks for that, and move on. Yeah, with me now coming off of the camera essentially during that content as well, yeah, I just don't feel like it's fair to my viewers to inundate them with a bunch of people like vlog bombing in the content. So you're not really going to see too much of that. Yeah, what we're going to be doing in the future, especially coming up, I got to go with what the fans have been enjoying. And not necessarily all these fans are Wonderland fans. In fact, some of the videos that have been the most successful on this channel have had nothing to do with theme parks. And I've kind of been lying to myself about what I'm really interested in some regards to that too. I'm going to just straighten this. No, the camera's all good. So in regards to that, I'm going to be doing a lot more nature videos and exploring a lot of the stuff around my region and the Great Lakes region for sure. There's going to be a lot more town profiles, as they've been very popular in the past. So look forward to that. Some major excursions into New York State, Northern Ontario, which is coming up very soon, Western New York especially, some attractions in Quebec. I'm finally planning and going to execute and get out there and do the East Coast finally, and do Cavendish. They've got a couple of theme parks out there for family adventure amusement parks that I'm going to be profiling on the channel, among a bunch of other attractions in that area and all throughout the Maritimes as well. So there's going to be a pretty big Maritimes tour coming up in about 2 months' time. And yeah, Santa's Village also has Yeti's Trek opening up. So I'm going to be profiling that on the channel. And of course, they've been very positive about us coming down to visit the construction of that ride. So you'll be seeing that very soon. In fact, that comes up in about a week or two. So yeah, very exciting to be doing that. And then we're gonna have some more history videos. So I feel like it's an incomplete phase of the channel if I don't complete some of the History of Canada's Wonderland videos that I've produced in the past, i.e. the bespoke ones around some of the more famous rides there. So look for several of those coming maybe later into the summer. And then we have a big overarching project, and something that I can't really mention, but all I'll say is just watch this space, because there's a pretty significant thing that I've been planning over 2 years, and it's already started. So you're going to see some new content in relation to it very soon. It is related to a theme, an amusement park, but all I can say is that it's going to deal with the fact and fiction. it's almost going to be a film within the channel, so in multiple parts. You can see if you can pick it up, because yeah, I don't want to really give away too much, but it's going to be an exciting project to put together. And in fact, I'm shooting that tomorrow and the next day, or another chapter in it very soon. So watch out for some eerie stuff. The haunt season is obviously very big on this channel. So you're going to see stuff a little bit earlier than Halloween when it comes to that. So there may be some viewer discretion advised warnings that will be necessary, because we're definitely going to be getting into some scare elements. In fact, there's an abandoned prison that I'm going to, in just a week's time from now, just in the north of here, Burwash. I was completely gapping out on the name of the place, but yeah, so we're going to Burwash, and that is just south of Sudbury. In fact, there's a lot of stuff around there that we're going to be covering in the next couple of weeks. It's going to take time for these things to come out on the channel, because as per usual, I want to make sure that these are cinematic presentations and the best possible. And we have backing now from some of these locations, an open invite to shoot there. Yeah, there's a couple, not just including Burwash that I'll mention, but some locations in Buffalo that we're doing tomorrow, and other ones that I've reached out to too. So it's an exciting time. In fact, I've got my first ever request for a location, a museum tour that I'm going to be doing, that they've said, we want to see the video before you release it, so that way we can possibly make some edits and suggestions. So I've kind of thought about that. I was on the fence about it, but I've opened up my mind. I'm being a little bit more open-minded about it. And I'm going to produce this content. And if they don't approve of it, I don't necessarily have to post it. But that's stuff that, yeah, it's an interesting chapter that we're going down. I also, just because it's just come up, and I've been working on this one for a while too, there's going to be more films, like I said, but I'm definitely going to be producing a couple more reprofiles, because it's been quite some time since some of those have come out. And whenever I produce a reprofile, then those are general, either they're clearly stated that they're based on like a satirical take on a historical place, or they are actual historical takes or analyses of a place. One in particular that is close to me is Wasaga Beach, and I'm working on a pretty major project on that destination. It's had a major, long history, a significant history in Ontario amusements. In fact, there's been many roller coasters that have existed there in the past, including amusement parks and stuff that are long gone, many water parks as well. It's a dinosaur park that only existed for a year. It's a fascinating place that has a big, long history of attractions that I think has been underwhelmed as far as like a historical look. So, you know, there's no shortage of ideas here for content if you want to do it too. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be spending a lot of time working on that particular video with some visits there too. And then also, yeah, a lot of stuff around Toronto, because one thing that I live in Toronto, I've never really done is feature it too significantly on the channel. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. I'd say I probably have as much of a fractured relationship with Toronto as I do with, say, Wonderland. You know, it's a love-hate thing. I don't really think it's really a world destination, like in the sense that people should absolutely come here and visit. You know, the Toronto Tourist Board would disagree, but I work in hospitality, and my most popular question when people come here, and it happens every single day, is, what do we do here other than the three obvious things being like the CN Tower, unfortunately Ripley's Aquarium, and usually the Distillery District or Toronto Island. So I'm gonna, you know, be open-minded and try to present Toronto in a different way, and also explore it a bit more myself to try to like fall in love again with my home city, because it's not without its challenges as of late, for sure. And you know, every time I go to other metropolises, I'm like, wow, there's so much to do here. I wish Toronto had this and had that, because a lot of what Toronto has to offer, most major metropolises also have to offer. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. I'm definitely paring back a bit now, not to get off point here with theme parks and stuff like that. I definitely have a lot more travel plans because, as I said, yeah, I have a fast pass for Six Flags, all the parks. I'm at 601 credits. I think I'm still at 600, but just try to remember if there was anything new in the last couple of months, but I don't think so. But yeah, I'm going to try to get to, I don't think I'll get to 800 by the end of this year, but who knows, that might be possible. But I don't think there's that many available in North America for me to actually hit that milestone. But the main parks that I'm planning on hitting this year are definitely in the Midwest and beyond. So Mount Olympus, I've never been to. Bay Beach, I want to get to ride their coaster. I want to get to Valley Fair. I've wanted to go there since I was a young kid. Mall of America, Adventureland, Lost Island. I desperately want to go back to Six Flags St. Louis. I had such a, even though I had a great time there, I think that haunt was incredible. I was kind of like overwhelmed by how incredible their haunt was. But I missed a couple of credits while I was there, so I definitely want to tick those boxes. And I only got one ride on Boss. And before they Titan track that one, look out for that Titan track video too, because there's so much activity. I actually produced and wrote an entire video about the, it's called Attack of the Titans, or, you know, a takeoff of Clash of the Titans. It's definitely a reprofiles. But there's been so much activity with Titan Track being announced on so many coasters this year that I had to mothball that and wait for all of those announcements and developments to come out before I put the final version of that together, because even by the time that video is ready, I'm sure by next year there'll be even more Titan Track installations to talk about. So I want to make that as accurate as possible. So definitely look out for that one, because that's definitely a big video that I've had planned for quite some time, and I've just been like on this perfectionist role now, or this perfectionist route, where I'm just like, I need to make these videos as best as I can, so that way when I watch them back after 2 years, I'm not like, ugh, I wish I put a little bit more time into that. You know, I definitely regret that in relation to the History of Wonderland Part 4, which I'm still have to go back and clean up a bit. But just from the sound perspective. So that's definitely a big one coming out in the near future. But other parks that I'm trying to get down, I'm probably not going to get to Epic Universe. I'll talk about it really lightly right now. I've definitely watched a couple of vlogs. I've not done any spoilers of the on-ride POVs, because I definitely want to keep those as exciting as possible if I manage to get down there anytime soon. But I don't think it's going to be very soon. Sadly, I think that once that park opens, it's going to be a bit crazy. I have a special video that I'm going to release on that day that it opens to the public. And let's just say it's a retro video. I've been vlogging for longer than I realized, so I have a special video from my archives that I'm going to be presenting on that particular day. And it's probably going to be a while before I get down to it. But I will say I'm already a bit underwhelmed for what it's going to cost to get into that park and how long the lines are going to be. And it looks beautiful. It does look a little tacky to me, I have to be honest. Like, I think it's a bit, like the colors and, you know, like, you know, definitely the Universal Monsters area looks incredible. I will say that much, but How You Train Your Dragon is not something that is from my generation per se, so it doesn't mean as much to me as, say, it might mean to people that are from the generation of which that series came out. But it definitely looks great. Super Nintendo World, I've been to one already in California, so it's definitely crazy and awesome, and I enjoy being there. I enjoyed being there, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's quite enough. You know, for what all the hype is behind that park, I'm not so sure that from, you know, from value from your hard-earned dollar, I'm not so sure that it's going to blow me away as much as how it's been touted. There's plenty of room for growth there for sure. I'm kind of more excited about the Universal being announced in the UK. That park looks incredible too. And already looks like it's going to have a little bit more to it than what Epic Universe is going to offer, at least from the outset. But that's just me. I watched a big long vlog about it, and really it was comprehensive, and I kind of was taken away. I took a okay, I'm definitely going to still go, but would I go to Islands of Adventure and probably have a better time? That's probably true. There's just a little bit more to do there, a little bit more bang for your buck when it comes down to it. So yeah, I'm just giving my honest impressions out of the gate. It seems like it has two incredible rides, one that's impressive. You can guess which those are because everyone seems to be on the consensus of what those are that have been there. And that's about it. Like, it's going to be a pricey venture. And, you know, with me not really being into Disney all that much anymore, with kind of the same reason, having a really underwhelming experience at Epcot for my last visit. You know, I honestly was at that park and I was like, this is probably the last time I'm ever going to visit this park. Like, having been there many years in the past, in the 90s to now, it's almost like exactly the same park to me, and nothing's changed in 30 years. So yeah, Disney have some catching up to do, but I'm kind of over the whole Disney shtick right now. The company has definitely had no, you know, shortage of controversy as far as their focus is right now. I'm not so sure that it's generated towards, you know, the interests of people like myself. I'm not, you know, I just kind of stay out of political stuff. I don't really want to be in those discussions. I just want to have a good time. And I have had a good time even at Epcot, like, you know, the tour, the around the world tour. Like, if you want to do that and have a drink in each section, definitely incredible experience. I'm not drinking right now, so I can't do that. And like, I've always been critical of experiences that require added, or, you know, non-salubrious or salubrious behaviors, or whatever you want to call it. If I'm, lack of a big word, I'm trying to like be careful with what I say, but it's like going to a baseball game and not having a beer. Unless you're really into the sport, it's not as entertaining as, say, you know, have a couple and then do that. So, you know, for my park experiences, it's always been about like going to them and enjoying them for what they are, not like getting a little tipsy and saying, oh, I had a great time, and oh, blah, 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 this happened. And, you know, I tripped over, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I tripped out and took my clothes off on It's a Small World, which I have not done. But, you know, some people take it too far. And yeah, I feel like it's time to call out those experiences for what they are. And Disney has a lot of work to do. I didn't get on, you know, now I can't even remember the name of the coaster that's in Epcot. That's so bad that I'm forgetting it right now. But Mission Rewind? Oh, no. But yeah, and also I'm not an MCU guy. So at the end of the day, that's why I'm gapping out about that coaster, because I was very, very bitter that I didn't get on it, didn't get a fast lane. And, you know, it is what it is. Now it's finally open. You can ride it in general queue. But for what that day cost, which was like $250 Canadian, and to leave that park without, which wasn't a very busy day when I was there, to not have the opportunity to ride it, that's not really fair. And I don't think Disney has been treating their general public fairly when it comes to what they offer. That is, unless you're going outside of America, because they're great parks outside of America. I love the one in Hong Kong. Shanghai was incredible and probably still my favorite Disney park. And obviously Disney Sea is probably comparative to what Epic Universe is, as far as like not having quite that much to do, but it's just an incredible park to visit. So definitely worth, it's still like a bucket list park if you're thinking about it. It's incredible no matter what. All right, we're getting close to the next stream coming up. So not mine, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on. So I have a lot of other parks in the south that I'm going to try to hit. So I'm trying to get to Texas to knock off those parks because they've been long on my radar. So that probably won't happen till the fall. But if things work out the way they do, I have a massive trip to Scandinavia planned, of which I'm going to, if I manage to do that, then we're going to hit 800. And we'll definitely get on Helix and Wildfire and so many other coasters out there that I've wanted to get on for so long. It's almost like 100 coasters in total that you can hit. Tornado at Bakken. Yeah, definitely one of the biggest trips that I could possibly look forward to on this channel, for sure. So that would be in the fall. It's an amazing time to go in the fall to Europe if you want to do your coasters too. And I've long been thinking about, like, it's been 6 years since the channel started. It's been 6 years since my Japan trip and China trip and Korea. So that is a place that's really kind of calling again. I'm not so sure it's going to happen this year, but I'm definitely looking at Japan and hopefully, if everything works out travel-wise, to possibly get out there again, because, I'm getting up there, and Ejinaika, you can't ride it after a certain age. So I have to get there before I'm officially banned from that ride. So that's definitely something I got to do. And I just want to get on Bandit again. I just loved it for what it is. It's one of my favorite coasters, and it sounds crazy to say, but Togo masterpiece, loved it. So yeah, definitely want to get out there and try that again. So Scandinavia is the big one, though. Hopefully, if things work out, that will be coming down the pipeline this year too. Other parks that I missed that I'm definitely going to be going to: Six Flags Over Georgia, never been before. Haven't been to Carowinds since the beginning of the channel as well. So that's another park that I need to get back to. Oh, and the camera's about to go down. Oh. Hello again. All right, we'll try not to record, so maybe it won't actually get a little upset on me. But okay, I haven't done any questions, so I'm going to try to do that and wrap this one up. But I think I've explained everything. If I haven't, then definitely hit me up before the camera overheats again. Trying to keep the quality good. As soon as I lean in, it goes out of focus. So go to Arnold's Park, and you have to check out the Bug for House ride. I definitely will. It's been on my radar for some time. Yeah, I'm 6 years. Thank you, B-Man, and thank you for being a follower for all that time. If you're still on the chat, I definitely appreciate it. And we have to meet this year. I promise you, it will happen. We will meet up. It's gonna happen. Yeah, well, it's good. Our paths are gonna have to cross at some point. I have at least 5 trips to Wonderland planned this year, if they'll allow me. I don't think they can ban me for saying that Time Warp was crap or that the food is junk, but it is. So, fine, whatever. And I'm not the only one that said that too. So, it is what it is. But we will definitely meet up this year. Focus is a little off, so sorry about that. Sorry if it's been asked, but thoughts on Time Warp removal and predictions on what might go in its place. I definitely think that there's probably, as much as people don't want to hear it, but they probably have a resorts planned for that side of the park. They can even, honestly, if they're really ambitious, kind of try to make it so that they incorporate Splashworks into that profile and make it really like massive, like sort of indoor hotel resort with water slides, and also sort of like a place that really caters to people that are going there for a longer stay. Because if they do that, then they can create a reason for people to stay longer. Cedar Point has had that for years, decades even. So there's no, the crowd is there for it. So they definitely need to produce a resort type of experience at Wonderland. They've had plans for it for years, and they've fell through on numerous occasions. So I think it's probably coming soon. I would love to see a GCI in that location or a log flume. I unfortunately now think that they're never going to realize a log flume in Wonder Mountain. But yeah, it would be nice to see, you know, Freizeitpark in Germany has one of those speed like launching log flumes. There's also one at the SeaWorld Park too. So I would certainly love to see something like that. Looks like the technology needs a little bit of tweaking yet, but yeah, a launched log flume would be incredible. Peter's even gone on record and said that that's something that he'd like to see back at the park. And we all know we've loved Zuma Flume. It wasn't that incredible of a ride, but there's just something about log flumes that I love. They're just like, it's just nice to have a bit of a relax in the park for 4 minutes. And you know, there's some incredible themed ones out there. And you go to Germany again, or even anywhere in Europe, and they have incredible ones too, on the level of like Splash. Well, the ride formerly known as Splash Mountain, Tiana's. So yeah, definitely something that Wonderland needs without question. I'd love to see a GCI. Don't get me wrong. But it looks like with what's going on with Mindbuster and the fate of Wild Beast, which Wild Beast I still love. I don't know what the deal is. It is rough depending on, you know, if you sit on a wheel seat. But you know, you know what you're getting into. And I love those types of rides. Like, as long as you manage it and just don't do like a marathon, you know, it's an experience that's unique to that park and something that's always talked about when you leave. So it's a distinguished ride within Wonderland, and long may it stay. We're kind of getting out of these RMC like makeover eras. Like, there's kind of not been any major ones in North America for some time now. So I'm not so sure if RMC are gonna we're gonna see something like that. If we get something like, I've not said it on a live before, but I have the video up, but like I have ridden Zadra only a couple of, like, what is it, 6 months ago. It's definitely my top 5 coasters of all time. It's an incredible ride. It's literally like everything that you think it is, if not more, especially at night. It's unbelievable. So to see something like that at Wonderland would be incredible. Is it as good as Steve? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of on the fence with that, because Steve is kind of like a weird ride that, like, the way people act on it is kind of funny. I just say it for what it is. My thoughts on Alpen Fury. There's so much to say. I've definitely come around to it. I originally was like very critical of like how it's changed the park, and maybe the park doesn't like the fact that I've said that, but like, Wonderland was one of the most picturesque parks in the Cedar Fair chain, or formerly known as. So it's unfortunate that we've lost that. They really paid a lot of attention to the aesthetics of that park, and Alpen Fury's kind of just come in and, you know, not that Leviathan hasn't done that, Behemoth was well situated. Yukon's kind of taken away from that too. So we're getting really to like a Nagashima type of park, which is like just a metropolis of coasters. Is it going to be that much different than what Full Throttle is? I love Full Throttle. I thought it was a great ride. It surprised me in certain elements, but it didn't blow me away. And when it comes to Premier, I still am like skeptical about how effective they are as far as giving you that ultimate punch and wow factor in their rides. This may be a revolution for them within Alpen Fury, but I'm still a bit skeptical. With Wonderland wanting to save a little bit of money, okay, that's another criticism, but it is true. And they've gone on record and said that. So it's interesting to see how mind-blowing, or what it's going to be. I might be wrong. I might be proven wrong. It might be incredible. It might be one of the best coasters in the world, but I'm still a bit skeptical. I'm about to lose battery power, so I got to wrap it up. So I'll try to hit these questions really quick. Love seeing your travel insights. Look forward to more to come. Thank you, Toy Fan. Yes, B-Man, watching that Japan trip. Better times indeed, and we will be meeting, going to be there on May 8th, 20th, 26th, or June 2nd. So I have this chat on replay, so I'll definitely keep those dates down so that way we can figure this out this year.